Ho ho holy hell, how are you all? This is Chris here at Hertastic Reviews. If you're new to this channel, welcome, and I'm sorry that you have to see me in the sad state of the Christmas season. I'm definitely much more of a Grinch this year than an old Kris Kringle, which technically I'm named after, Santa. But we're celebrating the holidays here at Hertastic Reviews, which normally we don't get to do. I think the last time, at least I remember, we did for a holiday special was when I was with Daniel in like one of our early videos that looked really good, but I still acted cringy as hell. I just show off one of my Black Friday deals. Most people forget, for Rainbow Blood. First Blood, excuse me, Rambo's First Blood. This movie takes place in Christmas when John Rambo comes back. The Christmas decorations are still up on the small little town that he comes back to in the sheriff's office. And I figured let's update it for 2020. This year's been a very, very awesome year. My mental health is at the greatest it's ever been. But today we are here to talk about holiday movies. For those who don't celebrate Christmas, I envy you, but I do as a Catholic man. But here's the thing. So people have been doing their 25 days of Christmas, 24 days of Christmas. Their top 5, 10 Christmas movies ever. And, I've been kind of avoiding doing that because I didn't want to follow the masses, good old Chris here at Hertastic Reviews. That's for those who don't know me, who are watching the first time. If you love this cynicism, just hit that subscribe button that's right here because you're going to get so much more of that at my expense and at my mental health. So... and if you're returning back again, you already know the deal. When you see the bottle, you know it's going to be a good video. Love this stuff. I should be sponsored by Evan Williams. So we're going to be talking about today some of my favorite holiday movies. These are holiday movies I recommend. Some of them are some of my favorites, and these are also just friendly reminders for those of you who have completely neglected to watch this or incorporate it into your December watches. You see, for most people, it's like Christmas movies, but to me, it's like just movies about snow and the cold because, let's be honest, with global warming, we're not getting that anymore, and I'm kind of missing it a little bit around this time of year because we'll end up getting it like February or March for whatever reason, and there's no point in watching, cold movies because it usually incorporated with Christmas. So we're going to do it here today so it can ice your hearts a little bit, kind of like mine, and we're going to talk about 10 holiday/winter movies that I really enjoy, and I think you should really check out. Let's see, there's not very many days left till Christmas, so, fucking grab a bottle and start watching these movies as fast as you can, especially if you're working from home. But let's just get into it, and if you're noticing why I have a leather face here, it was a Christmas gift. So it's kind of a part of the theme of today, even though it's totally about an insane family. But you know what? That's kind of part of Christmas, right? Getting with people you like, doing things you enjoy, whether it's cannibalism or talking about politics or maybe actually enjoying your quality time with your family. But I do like hanging out with my family. I don't want people to think I don't. I actually really do, and I'm excited for the Zoom calls I'll have. But let's just talk about the movies now. So the first one I want to talk about is a Quentin Tarantino film. These are for all my freshman film students who maybe have not seen anything other than Pulp Fiction and maybe Reservoir Dogs. I feel like that's usually the cap there. This is going to be a movie I recommend for you guys. It's not my favorite Tarantino, but it's still a very great film, and it's definitely part of this season's vibes. That is The Hateful Eight. This came out, 2016? This was a weird one that came out. Yeah, 2016 came out. Samuel L. Jackson steals the show in this movie. Kurt Russell's in it before he was in the Christmas Chronicles, still rocking a Christmas Santa beard. It's just a really great violent movie that takes place in the cold of winter. It's pretty funny. It's got some really great, solid racism, much like the holidays. And it also has a lot of action, quick dialogue, everything that's a staple of Tarantino, and then some. That's where you're going to get in The Hateful Eight. I really recommend you watch this and maybe even start thinking about where it stands in your top Tarantino movies. I don't know if it's cracked my top 5 yet, but it's probably one of my lesser watched ones. But I still think it's a really solid movie. So check out The Hateful Eight. Now, when I'm ranking these, outside of maybe the number one, none of them really matter in their rankings. They're just in the pile I picked them out on. I did try to get the more Christmas movies near the bottom and the winter movies more on top. So that's probably what you're wondering. But let's go into the next one. It's definitely the cold of winter, but this guy definitely melts my heart, and that is James Caan and Kathy Bates in Stephen King's Misery. Now, this movie, directed by Rob Reiner, came out in what, 1990. So, Misery, this is my favorite Stephen King adaptation. It is a phenomenal movie. It is terrifying. It's kind of funny at times. It's relatable, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. And it takes place in winter, you know? You're stuck in a house with somebody you don't like, and they take care of you. I feel like that's going to be related to some people who go home for the holidays. But Misery is so good. I have it here on the Scream Factory edition. You can get it that way, which I definitely recommend. You can get the cheap Blu-ray. That's still pretty good. I know, like, for my budget buyers who probably watch the channel to get more tips, just get the normal one if you can, or get the double pack that has this and I believe Carrie. If you can, from Scream Factory. Usually it's like $11. But Misery, I absolutely love this gem, and James Caan kills it. Next movie, for my younger audiences and for those who grew up watching this and liking it, maybe I'm in the minority, I'm not sure. I thought everyone liked this movie, but for me it was Lord of the Rings Light, and that is Disney's The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I actually really like this movie. It's a little long now that I've rewatched it and thought about it more. It's way too long, but it's technically a Christmas movie because Father Christmas is in this movie. And you get one actor from Troy as Father Christmas in this movie. He's the one who's Eric Bana's like sidekick, who dies pretty quickly, I believe. Or no, he dies near the end actually. But yeah, he's Father Christmas in this. You get Tilda Swinton in this movie. I don't know. And you get James McAvoy as a fawn in World War II. So the great things about Christmas. I don't know. I just really enjoyed this movie growing up. Like I said, it was like Lord of the Rings light because it wasn't like as long as Lord of the Rings, but it was still pretty long. But it had really great action and adventure in there, but it wasn't so heavy like Lord of the Rings at times. I don't know. Plus, it had a lot of mythology, and I really enjoy mythology. So, yeah, The Chronicles of Narnia. I definitely recommend rewatching this for those who are a little bit older, remember when it came out, like I did. And then you eventually saw Prince Caspian after in theaters like I did, and was completely disappointed, like most things when you get older. But, yeah, so Chronicles of Narnia, I definitely think you should watch during this holiday season. The next movie, a little bit more of a classic one because it is a Best Picture winner, 1960, actually. Billy Wilder's The Apartment. I have it here through Arrow. Definitely worth the upgrade. You can get the standard release. It's still good, but I really just wanted to upgrade because I love this movie. Won Best Picture in 1960. Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine and Fred MacMurray, who was also in Double Indemnity from Billy Wilder. This movie takes place it takes place during Christmas and New Year's. Jack Lemmon plays this young bachelor who has a crush on Shirley MacLaine, and she works in an office building, basically pre-Mad Men. And everyone uses his apartment basically to cheat on their wives because he's a single guy who has a decent enough apartment, and he will loan it out to his higher-ups in his office so they can fornicate, and he cleans up the semen, much like Travis Binkle in Taxi Driver.
Each night when I return the cab to the garage, I have to clean the cum off the back seat.
It plays for comedy, but it also is kind of dark, and it kind of explores the loneliness around the holiday season. A lot of people I feel like who watch the channel will probably agree. Like that's a big thing. I just really enjoy this movie. It's funny, it's heartbreaking at times, and it's just such a great movie. If you watch, I don't know, every Billy Wilder movie I've ever seen, I've always enjoyed and thought it was amazing. But this is the one that won Best Picture for him, so definitely check out this movie, and it has a lot of snow in it too. So The Apartment, definitely recommend it. The next movie is a newer watch for me, and I didn't realize, I kind of felt like Leonardo DiCaprio was like standing and like pointing at the TV when I saw it, because I saw a Christmas tree and it was snowing. And homeless people were being kicked out of their place. I guess they don't have homes, but homeless people were being kicked out of their places of habitation and being forced into internment camps. And fighting the revolution. And that is, of course, in Robocop 3. Robocop 3 is definitely one of the ones I definitely don't recommend you have to watch. You can actually just go through Robocop 1 and 2 and be fine and forget about 3. But if for those who really want to feel adventurous, go and watch Robocop 3. Because it has a different actor. Peter Weller does not play Robocop. He is replaced by John Burks, I think is his name. Basically RoboCop now has a mind of his own, and he does not want to fight for the global company that he is basically created by. He decides to revolt with the homeless I shouldn't say homeless, the poor people basically, who are being taken away from their homes. Not all of them are homeless. And he's basically leading an underground revolution with them. And it's such a 90s movie. And it takes place near Christmas of all times too, because there's Christmas trees in their underground lair. Nancy Allen takes a quick exit in this movie. If you really want to hear more about, I guess, Robocop 3, you should listen to my podcast, Inside the Sequel. I definitely leak it on here for you all to listen to, so you don't have to go to your Spotify's or iTunes, where it's usually at. You can just watch it here on YouTube if you want. And last one, the Santa Claus 2, got a lot of views, so shout out to all of my subscribers who have been listening. But yeah, you can hear it had Matt Bledsoe and I just talking about RoboCop 2 and then a little bit of RoboCop 3. So it's a Christmas movie, and watch it when you get drunk. So this next one's kind of like a classy one because it's really good. It's romantic for my boys who have girls, and it's just a great movie. It has Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. I wonder what else it could be. I talked about the counterpart one to it, and I want to just bring a light to this one, and that is Sleepless in Seattle. Sleepless in Seattle takes place again during the Christmas in the beginning, and then it takes place also during New Year's, and then throughout the year after that. Meg Ryan falls in love with the voice of Tom Hanks, who is a widower who lives in Seattle now. She still lives in New York, and she's engaged to Bill Pullman, which, I mean, boy, you can't go wrong there. And she loves the sound of the voice of Tom Hanks, and he sounds like just the kind of guy she wants because he has a young son. And she basically goes to find who this man is, and it's funny because it has Rosie O'Donnell in it, and it's very romantic. It's just a great movie, and it does take place during the winter. This is a movie for my couples who are subscribed, and for the dudes, my young kings who want to know what a relationship is like. This is the movie to see. Love this movie to death. The next movie is for those, for my horror community guys and girls who want a little bit of blood and guts during the Christmas time, because I don't know what it is about blood on snow that makes it look more grotesque and freaky and scary and terrifying. I don't know. When I always remember like Alien vs. Predator, when the Predators first show up and start killing everyone, there's blood that just splatters on the snow, and it just was always like kind of uncomfortable for me. But this is kind of similar because there's not as much blood. There's more strangling. It's also for my ex-fraternity people who are watching this movie. Bob Clark's, was it 1976? 1974, Bob Clark's Black Christmas. Bob Clark also a couple years later made The Christmas Story. Yeah, The Christmas Story. He made this first. It's about a couple sorority girls who stay back during the Christmas break, and there's a killer on campus. And he's strangling girls, and they're falling out in this sorority house. It's super creepy, and it's claustrophobic, and there's some imagery in here. Excuse me, the alcohol. There's some imagery in this movie that is really creepy. You just the way that the girls look when they're strangled, and when you hear the heavy breathing of the killer. And honestly, this movie has a lot of red herrings as well. It's a really great mystery to find out who the killer is. And on rewatch, it still works because it's still a freaky movie. I absolutely enjoyed this movie. I watched it for the first time last Christmas and absolutely loved it. I have it here with the Scream Factory release. And I just cannot recommend it enough. I'm pretty sure it was going out of print at one point. Copies were flying off the shelves. So make sure you pick up your copy. And don't forget what the subtitle says. This movie doesn't make your skin crawl. It's too tight. So definitely check out this movie. The next movie I have here is for those who haven't manned the fuck up and grown a pair and acknowledged that they've been wrong their whole lives in standing on this fucking soapbox for whatever reason. It's ridiculous. We laugh at you. You're not cool. I need people to start acknowledging the hell out of this movie because it's solid as fuck and it's actually just as good as the first. And that is Die Hard 2. How the hell does the same shit happen to the same guy twice? John McClane comes back in another Christmas movie. Die Hard 2 is awesome. Directed by Rennie Harlin. It came out in 1990. So another 1990 release. But Rennie Harlin comes and kicks ass in this Die Hard sequel to the first movie. It flows seamlessly with the first one. If you love the first Die Hard, then just go ahead and watch this one too. I don't know why the hell Flick Pick hates this movie. Lord knows why. I don't even care about his movie taste. But you need to watch this movie because, one, it'll introduce you to this filmography That is Rennie Harlan. And if you need a New Year's resolution, that should be your fucking resolution, is watching Rennie Harlan pictures in 2021, because they're fucking awesome. And in this movie, John McClane comes back, and basically the same shit happens to him again in an airport. So I definitely recommend Die Hard 2. People are going to say, Chris, where's Die Hard? You know why I didn't put Die Hard here? Because everyone should be fucking watching Die Hard during Christmas, because it's a Christmas movie. That's why. So watch Die Hard 2 now. Like, it's time to grow up a little bit. Stop being a little kid and arguing about whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not, because it is. Grow up and now move on to Die Hard 2. The final Christmas movie you need to watch because, one, it's a classic. Two, it's one of the best movies ever made by one of the best directors. Three, I think people forget that there is a lot of good Christmas moments in this movie. We're talking about Goodfellas. Goodfellas is a Christmas movie. They rob the biggest heist at the Tacoma Airport, I believe it is. And what did I tell you? What did Robert De Niro tell you? Don't buy anything. And you see what happens when you buy stuff during Christmas after you make a huge robbery. The biggest Christmas caper of probably any movie that Scorsese ever did. Goodfellas is a Christmas movie through and through. It's all about hanging out with your family, your adopted brothers, basically. Because I feel like Henry and Robert De Niro in this movie are basically brothers, even though they're not. And Tommy as well, by Joe Pesci. This is a movie about family that isn't Fast and Furious. So watch Goodfellas, because it'll really bring you into the Christmas spirit, and you're watching a fantastic movie before the year ends too. So knock out two birds with one stone. So Goodfellas is a movie to watch during the holiday season. What are some Christmas movies, holiday, winter movies that you like to watch during this time? I know I said last video I do like watching a lot more childhood movies, so Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, superhero movies. Those are usually what I like to watch during this time. But sometimes you want to sit back and put on a movie that is of the time, I guess. So you don't have to be a complete Grouch or a Grinch or a Scrooge or whatever. But yeah, all I have to say is I hope you enjoy your holidays and you stay safe. We're probably going to take a break for a couple days, and we're probably going to try and do collaboration that I have in the works for you kids if you've been good this year. So we'll try to end the 2020 right. So if you really enjoyed this video, if you really enjoyed my thoughts and opinions, then give me a like, comment down below what movie you thought should belong on this list or shouldn't be. And you know what? Don't forget hit that subscribe button, because we're getting really close. I think we're really building here, and I want to keep the momentum going before it falls through in 2021. And if you liked my voice, you should definitely check out the podcast, Inside the Sequel. And one last thing before you go. If you want to know more about my pathetic life and where I get my movie taste, you should watch my latest guest appearance on the Nathan Jones channel. He's pretty big. I don't know if he is down below. I haven't gotten a chance to peek at that schmeat yet, but he invited me to his Film Journeys YouTube series, and he basically asked me questions about my thoughts and opinions on movies today and what made me love movies. And I'll put a link of that down below as well. It'll be your recommended video after this as well to check out. And yeah, you should check out his stuff too. So, but like I said, enjoy your holidays. Merry holidays, happy Christmas, whatever. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And remember, if you don't like watching holiday movies during Christmas, do you really care about cinema? Anyway, we'll see you next time.